From Politico, Germany issues arrest warrant over for Ukrainian over Nord Stream bombing, reports say. Ukraine is our enemy. I believe that the country of Ukraine is an enemy of the United States. They have sabotaged and destroyed. They are invoking war and causing problems for us. They're siphoning away resources. I think they're an enemy of this country. But of course, the uniparty establishment is all on board. Politico says, hey, look at this. What's this? German prosecutors have obtained a European arrest warrant for a Ukrainian man they believe was involved in the bombing of the Nord Stream gas pipelines, according to media reports Wednesday. Those are Russian, by the way. The man, however, was able to escape arrest, German media reported. Germany's federal prosecutor general is seeking a man identified as Volodymyr Z. Zelensky? For privacy reasons, he's a 44-year-old Ukrainian diving professional who was last seen in Poland and has since disappeared. Wait, hold on. That's so funny. Volodymyr Zelensky, right? That's his name? Yeah. How old is he? He's 46. So this is Volodymyr Zelensky, Volodymyr Z. He's 46 years old. Okay. They're not actually suggesting the president of Ukraine personally went and blew up Russian gas pipelines. I was kidding, by the way. The man was identified as Volodymyr Zhuravlov. You see, there's the real name. By the Swedish newspaper Expressen, part of the reporting consortium covering the story. The subsea explosions in September 2022 took out 3 of the 4 Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines transporting gas from Russia to Germany and sent geopolitical shockwaves around the world. There are continuing unanswered questions about who is responsible and fingers pointed variously at Russia, Ukraine, the U.S., and the U.K. I ain't believing for a second. Russia blew up their own pipeline. Nord Stream 1 had been in operation since 2011. Nord Stream 2 was completed, but had not yet begun pumping gas by the time of the attacks. The pipelines had been enormously controversial, with Ukraine, the U.S., Poland, and others criticizing Germany for tying itself to Russian gas exports. A position that became untenable following Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Denmark and Sweden also opened probes into the explosions, but those investigations were suspended without naming a suspect. German prosecutors' investigation into the blast also points to 2 other Ukrainian nationals, a couple who run a diving school in Ukraine where Zhuravlov worked as a diving instructor. They say they believe that Yevhen and Svetlana Yu attached explosive charges to the pipelines, according to the investigation. The 3 expert divers were in the Baltic Sea in September 2022 aboard a German sailing yacht called Andromeda. According to the Süddeutsche Zeitung, the German prosecutor had listed Yevhen Yu and his wife Svetlana as possible accomplices. All right, we get the details. Let's break down what this means. In reality, I think Ukraine was working at the behest of the United States to blow up Russian gas pipelines because the U.S. wants to control energy in Europe. Here we go, baby. I'll make it quick. The U.S. wanted to build a gas pipeline called the Qatar-Turkey pipeline. It needed to go through Syria and Turkey into Europe to compete with Russia's Gazprom gas monopoly, which goes through Ukraine. Syria said no. Syria then falls into civil war, I believe likely due to CIA interference, to trigger a conflict in the country and destabilize it. Hence, U.S. troops are in Syria. We wanted to build this pipeline so that we could reduce gas prices via competition with Russia. Syria said no, Russia is our ally. Why then is there the Burisma scandal, where Joe Biden goes to the president of Ukraine and says, if you don't fire the prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, who's investigating, he didn't say this, but who was investigating Burisma, the founder, Mykola Zlochevsky, he said, I'm going to withhold congressionally approved loan guarantees $1 billion. The president of Ukraine says, you can't do that. And he goes, try me. This was illegal, outright illegal. Joe Biden did not have the authority to do this. He did it anyway. The reason is that Hunter Biden's on the board, that a former CIA counterterrorism director is on the board of Burisma, is they needed an energy company to facilitate the gas imports into Ukraine. They needed to control Ukraine to put controls on Gazprom. This would cause serious problems for Russia in selling gas and oil, diminish their economy. The U.S. then wanted to make Ukraine a NATO country so they could cut Russia off from the Black Sea. Without access to the Black Sea, Russia's not going to be selling oil through the Mediterranean, through the Black Sea, through the Bosphorus, into the Mediterranean. Basically, this was war against Russia. It was economic war against Russia the whole time. Russia's response was to invade Ukraine, secure their land bridge and access to Crimea, which is their only warm water port, which is in Sevastopol, where they have a naval base and where they can distribute oil into the Black Sea and into the Mediterranean. The U.S. wanted to shut them down, shut down their gas sales, isolate Russia, and basically destroy the country. What do you think that's going to turn into? So here we are. Ukraine, working at the behest of the United States, likely blew up the Russian gas pipelines, Nord Stream, so that it would severely hinder Russia's ability to sell gas, weakening the country. Why do you think Russia then invades Ukraine? Why do you think we are then at war? The U.S., NATO, has expanded dramatically into Eastern Europe and has pressured, look, man, they've pressured Russia to the point where war was inevitable. This is why I don't like current U.S. foreign policy. Under Donald Trump, these things weren't happening. Under Donald Trump, we had stability. Donald Trump was bringing peace agreements. Powerful Western interests headquartered in the United States and Europe want global dominance via the liberal economic order. Every country must fall in line, submit, or else. This whole project, whole campaign they were working on was to remove Putin, to destroy Russian governance, and make them a vassal state of Western powers. Russia said no. And now it's all falling apart. In the meantime, U.S. approves $20 billion in weapon sales to Israel amid threat of wider Middle Eastern war. You know what I can't stand? I can't stand the people who think that the United States is a vassal state of Israel. I think that narrative exists to make it impossible for people like me and other anti-war types to stop what the U.S. is doing or to argue against it. The idea they want to create is to dominate the conversation on Israel and make it seem like there's two things. One side is any criticism of Israel is anti-Semitic. Lie. The other side is Israel controls everything. Insanity. The reality is Israel has its interests. Israel is right powerful. The U.S. does support Israel. But Israel is a proxy, is a vassal state of the United States. They're going after Netanyahu. They want to remove him. They want to control this country. They don't like what he does. The United States exerts tremendous authority over Israel. And then they talk about AIPAC. They talk about pro-Israel PACs that are ousting people like Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman. The bigger picture there is the U.S. wants war in the Middle East. Barack Obama destabilized the region intentionally, in my opinion, to destroy these governments so that the chaos allows the U.S. to come in and do whatever they want. The benefit of what the U.S. is doing in supplying Israel and the conflict in the Middle East is that we can then go into Iraq, Afghanistan, destabilize Iran, exert our authority, and once again, just like with Russia, we can press the liberal economic order. So why are these pro-Israel PACs going after the Squad? Because the Squad is opposed to Israel, and Israel is a vassal state that is instigating a war that the United States wants to happen. Now, some people have suggested Kamala, Biden, and others, Obama, are pro-Iran and don't want the war in the Middle East. If that were true, why did Barack Obama ramp up Stuxnet? What was it? Operation Olympus or whatever it was called. They developed the virus in tandem with Israel to blow up Iranian nuclear centrifuges. That's an act of war. Iran didn't retaliate, at least as far as we know. They want war with Iran. They want the justification. They just want to control it. What they're really hoping for is instability so they can go in the region, take the oil, control what they want to control. Israel is a foothold. The U.S. tried building a beachhead in Gaza. They want what's happening. And now they're going to give $20 billion of your money, which is going to lead to more massive inflation. They've given hundreds of billions of Ukraine for similar reasons, and people are wondering why it is they can't afford to eat. Why the food costs are getting so high. Congress was notified of the impending sale, which includes more than 50 F-15 fighter jets, advanced medium-range air-to-air missiles, AMRAAMs, AMRAAMs, a 120-millimeter tank ammunition, and high explosive mortars and tactical vehicles, and comes at a time of intense concern that Israel may become involved in a wider Middle Eastern war. Oh, yeah. Iran is outright saying it's war. However, the weapons are not expected to get to Israel anytime soon. They are contracts that will take years to fulfill. Much of what is being sold is to help Israel increase its military capability in the long term. The earliest systems being delivered under the contract aren't expected until the 2026 timeframe. Quote, the United States is committed to the security of Israel and it is vital to U.S. national interest to assist Israel to develop and maintain a strong and ready self-defense capability. This proposed sale is consistent with those objectives, the State Department said in a release on the sale. The Biden administration has had to balance its continued support for Israel with a growing number of calls from lawmakers and the U.S. public to curb military support there due to the high number of civilian deaths in Gaza. It has curbed one delivery of 2,000-pound weapons amid continued airstrikes by Israel in densely populated civilian areas in Gaza. What does it all mean, my friends? A vote for Kamala Harris expands the war. To be fair, I don't know, as I said earlier, that if Donald Trump gets in, I don't know that he can stop what's coming. I don't. I'd like to believe it, but I don't know that it's possible. In the meantime, I'd say Ukraine is an enemy of the American people. Now, for the deep state, for the liberal economic order, they're a great vassal. But I think for what Americans really want, Ukraine is going to make World War III happen. Not just Ukraine, Israel as well. These two states are not helping the American people. I'll leave it there. Next segment is tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. So smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share these videos and share the shows if you really do like them. You can follow me on X at Timcast as well as Instagram at Timcast. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all tonight.